Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan, and I am here with a wonderful special guest today. I am here with DeMarco Dude. DeMarco Dude, how are you doing, sir?
Hey King, I'm like in so many different places right now. Just like like in my personal side and then like on my channel side. We were talking a bit before the stream. I made a Lego Star Wars video that exploded across, just everywhere, and I was not ready for it, and it's just kind of really caught me off guard. So things are nuts, but I love it. I love it. And now we're doing this because we've been talking about this for probably about 8 to 12 months.
Yes, we've been trying to do this for a long time. Let me say hi to some folks that are already here. Renrut, Zonderbunny, DeMarco Dude. Who's this DeMarco Dude guy?
Sounds like a loser.
Tamar, by the way, I've got some news that Tamar released, and he's the source. We're going to talk about that. Thank you, Tamar, for being here. Gold Dragon Gaming, thank you all for being here. We have got so much to cover, so I'm going to jump right in. Today, I'm not going to quite get to your comments the way I normally do, but please go ahead and comment, ask your questions. If you really, 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 really have something important, ask it 2 or 3 times or put it on a super chat, because me and DeMarco do have a lot to talk about. Let me preview just a little bit of it, and then we're going to jump in. Of course, we're going to talk about Microsoft and Activision and all that, and how that affects gaming, how that affects Bethesda, all the things that are going on there. And again, that's going to be a deep subject to get into. I've got some Ghostwire Tokyo news. I've got some Elder Scrolls news. Got some Starfield news. We heard a little bit about the Fallout TV show. Of course, I've got Fallout 76 news, as always. And then we're going to talk specifically about the future of Bethesda. Very quick, starting off, because I know I've got some Fallout 76 fans. Let me tell y'all what's going on in the game right now. Right now is Double Score Weekend. It is also Gold Rush Weekend. So get out there. If you haven't got your scoreboard done, get out there. It's Double Score right now. But you don't have to rush, because you've got all of February. It isn't going to change until the 1st of March. New season does not come until March. Also, the PTS is open with the Invaders from Beyond and the Test Your Metal. And go over there and do that. You'll earn your PTS pendant. The next major update, the next major thing is not until the 1st of March, which will be that Invaders from Beyond. So that's what's going on in Fallout 76. We've got a lot more to talk about with Fallout 76 coming up soon. So stick with us. I'm sorry, DeMarco Dude, that was a lot of introduction and news to get out of the way. I want to start with you with Microsoft and what just happened. The biggest gaming deal in history.
Well, just to put another thing into perspective too, it's the biggest deal in gaming history, yes, but it's the second biggest deal. I think the second biggest deal in media.
Wow.
You have Disney buying Fox for like 80 billion, right? And that was so big that the US government said, "No, you got to split that up." And then underneath that is, "Hey, Microsoft buying Microsoft's purchase."
It's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
9 times as much as they spent on Bethesda. Just put that in your mind. 9 times as much.
I guess they don't have high hopes for Starfield.
They paid $95 a share. And by the way, the shares are worth, if you look on the stock market, about $82 to $85 a share. So they paid more than what it's worth. $68.7 billion. My mind cannot even fathom that. Activision as a whole last year made $8 billion. Excuse me, that was in 2020. They made $8 billion. So think about how long, if they keep making only $8 billion a year, will it take them to get that $68 billion, almost $70 billion back?
You can't imagine that much money.
No,
you can't imagine that with all of your YouTuber money that you made.
yeah. Me making 0.005 cents per video. Just to put that in perspective, Microsoft made $143 billion in 2020. Can you imagine? Anyway, wow. So we'll start right there. They have over 10,000 employees that I'm talking about Activision with games like World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, Candy Crush, name some more.
You have StarCraft, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro.
Yeah, Spyro, there you go. And we could just keep going. So this is a major, major deal. Hey, Joey Caps, what's going on? Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Doug. Just your general thoughts over this acquisition. Ooh, I can't say acquisition. I cannot say it. You know what I'm trying to say. Just your general thoughts.
No, don't. Please try. Keep trying.
No. This is a comedy podcast as well. My people know this very well. What's your general thoughts over it? We're going to go a little bit deeper into maybe the government may get involved. What this means for their games and all that. But I just want your general thoughts on what you think about this buyout that Microsoft did. I changed the word.
It's a double smart. it's a double-edged sword for me, because on the one hand you have this very dystopian, and we were talking about this when Bethesda was bought, because Bethesda's huge. So Bethesda's bought, and we're all talking about like, oh, this one big company's buying out this other big company. Like, what kind of future are we heading to with gaming? But now we're talking about what was the amount? It was 10 times the amount? About
9 times the amount, yeah.
9 times the amount. Now we're talking about 9 times the amount in the value, and also just the pure size of Activision Blizzard is insane. So on the one hand, it's like even more in the direction of this dystopic future where just these gigantic companies and conglomerates, like, we'll end up with Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. And like, that's it, right? That's like the weird future. On the other hand, they bought a studio that was so rife with internal issues, and we all know what those issues are. They bought a studio that, like, these talented developers, I was looking over what their projects were. The guys who made Spyro, the guys who made Crash, the guys, you know, and they're all doing Call of Duty every single year. And you have all of these talented developers, and all they can work on is Call of Duty year in and year out under Activision. So you have Microsoft stepping in and saying, nope, we're wiping our hands with this, we're going to fix them up. On the other hand, you have, like, what's the end of all of this, right?
Well, you know why they do it year after year after year? It's a cash cow. That's why. I mean, Call of Duty, that's where they get their money. Hey, Kane, Gold Dragon Gaming says, I'm considering reviving my channel to cover this subject, but I think the sale is a good thing. I'm with you. It's a mixed deal, because for gamers like me who love Xbox, Game Pass has just become much better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't imagine me in my youth having Game Pass with all of those games. I can remember the first time a game store opened up. We didn't have game stores when I was little. But anyway, I remember the first game store that opened up and being able to go and pick out a game or two, and that was a major deal, 2 new games for Christmas.
Was it from the discount bin?
Yeah, normally.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, Game Pass, you can literally go on there and it's growing all the time. I want to skip ahead since we're talking about the games, and you brought up Call of Duty. I know Sony fans are wondering, what are they going to do with our favorite games? Well, right now, all of the current games, they've said they're leaving them on Sony. I'm going to give you my opinion. I want to hear from you, and then y'all please chime in as well. But you do not buy a company for $70 billion to, by the way, combat Sony, because they are in a battle with Sony. You don't do that to leave all the games on Sony. You do that to have an advantage over Sony. You do that to have a something to bargain with Sony. Now, Phil Spencer said something very interesting about Call of Duty, and let's talk about that one specifically. He said, we're going to do everything we can to keep it on Sony. But he didn't say how. He did not say how. That
Is
could
this
be
the bargaining chip.
Yes, that could be.
Yes!
Game Pass As long as Sony
On
accepts
Sony.
Game Pass, then
You'll get Call of Duty.
there you go.
And you know how much your players want Call of Duty, right? You want that Call of Duty money.
Yep. You can have it, Sony, if you take Game Pass. That's the only way.
Yeah.
So you see that too, then, don't you, in the future?
Yep. Yeah. So I think, the one thing I will say is that he's been very much like, remember with the Bethesda deal when he was saying, "Oh, like we never want to gate players, but it's going to be the best experience on Xbox, an Xbox family of systems," right? He's not saying that this time around. Now he's actually directly saying, "No, it will be on PlayStation, or it might be on PlayStation," right?
Yeah. We want to keep it on PlayStation.
We want to keep it on PlayStation, right?
Which is kind of funny. Doesn't he have the power to do it if he wants to? Of course he does. So why wouldn't he? Why would he word it that way? Because there's something in the works. Very quickly, Tamar, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Wonder if Raven Software will now be allowed to get a crack at Wolfenstein again. I've thought of this. This is cool. I wish the Bethesda Terminator games would be on Steam." Yeah, I love those old games, but yes. It's interesting, not just Raven with Wolfenstein. Me and Joe actually talked about this with some of the old Fallout guys, with Black Isles and all them now under the same umbrella. You think about all these people that used to work on these games now coming back under the same umbrella. You wonder if some of these people, and I do think there will be some people working on it. Now, maybe it may not be that studio, but they may get them to help. I can see that happening. Absolutely.
I'm on the other side. I think that they're gonna probably keep them separate, right? Because they might help out, but it's not gonna be.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not. It's never gonna be on the level where they're possibly even co-credited as a developer, if that makes any sense. It's just silently they're moving people between projects because they know that this guy from Raven has what it takes. I don't think we're ever going to get a Wolfenstein game from Raven.
No.
It's with Machine Games. Period. End of story.
It'll be like id helped on Fallout 4,
or Arcane helped with
Wolfenstein
Youngblood.
Wolfenstein Youngblood, exactly. Now, government getting involved. Do you believe the government's going to get involved very quickly? Why would the government get involved? Because there are antitrust laws. And what an antitrust law is very simple. There's U.S. law set up so that monopolies are not formed, and it promotes competition amongst businesses. And some people definitely will think that this is becoming a gaming monopoly. But even though this is the biggest gaming deal yet, do you see this as a gaming monopoly? I don't really see this as a monopoly yet, anyway.
Jeremy made a funny comment. He said "phone a friend" with the part. But I don't. It's not. Listen, if the people who are calling it a monopoly don't know what a monopoly is.
No.
It's not a monopoly. Now, what is interesting, I don't know if you saw this, but what's interesting is the same day that Microsoft announced this deal, there was this statement that came out from Washington, from DC, where they were saying "Oh, we're actually taking a look at revising our monopoly and antitrust laws," on the very same day. And when they were asked to comment about what's going on with the Microsoft deal specifically, they said, "Well, that's in progress, so we can't talk about it just now."
Yeah. I know one senator tweeted that we're going to watch it closely. That was yeah.
It's on the radar. Now, I don't think there's any, because listen, at the end of the day, it's still going to go through in most of its capacity, right? Because what you'll see is the same thing that happened with Disney, where at the most, when it comes to legal, the legal side of it, is that they'll break it up and they'll say, okay, these studios, you can't purchase all of these studios. Some of them need to go somewhere else, which is what they did with Disney to Fox. When Disney bought Fox, they weren't allowed to have every single part of Fox Entertainment. It had to get split up, I believe.
Right.
So they would do the same thing at most, but they're not going to say no to the deal.
But this is just my opinion, and I don't know near as much about Disney. But you look at what Disney owns, or what that whole big conglomeration, they own everything. I mean, everything's owned there. Microsoft, all Microsoft has done, talking about competition, they were so far behind Sony. Now they've just, in my opinion, they've just pulled ahead. There's still competition, but I believe they have definitely pulled ahead of Sony.
You got to be careful talking about the House of Mouse King. They're listening.
Yeah, I know.
They're listening.
Sorry.
God. We love Disney.
I love Disney.
They're great. They make awesome movies. Please sell me more merchandise.
Wait, I just got 3 strikes on my channel. Oh. So, do you see what I'm saying, though? I think there's still competition. I think Microsoft has just taken a leap ahead of Sony as far as in their exclusive games, as far in what they have to benefit the gamer. I mean, if you're just going now and going, which should I buy? And I'm talking about right now. You go to a store, you have enough money to buy either system, and you think, which one do I want? Do I want an Xbox or do I want a PlayStation? Well, there's a huge catalog now that's about to be there for Xbox that really has pushed it up there, in my opinion, past Sony.
Yeah, no, I think what you're saying is completely accurate. It's kind of the thing where these studios, like, that's what I was gonna say. What's scarier to me more than whether or not regulation will go through is the people who are making these decisions, because how much do they actually know about the gaming industry as well, right? And that's something that I was thinking about too. Regardless of what direction they decide to go on.
Zero.
Yeah.
Can you
exactly?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine a senator on either side? I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Can you imagine a senator that's probably in his 60s
and he's sitting down playing Call of Duty?
Can you imagine them talking about gaming and making a decision on gaming, knowing anything about it? Oh my word!
He's watching Starfield videos right now as we speak.
KingFanMan, who's KingFanMan?
So that makes me nervous as well, because are they actually going to make the decision for the right reasons with an actual understanding of the gaming industry and how it's working, right? You look at the general reaction to the deal, and it's positive, right? I think I described it as a double-edged sword, but at the end of the day, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for fans. I think it's a good thing for Xbox players. I think it's a good thing for all the studios that will now actually get to work on Spyro again with actual financial support. But if they...
Okay, I have to stop you. I agree with everything you said to a point, because now I have to bring up a subject I was going to talk about later, but let's go ahead and slide it in right now. You said it was good for all of the studios. We do know that Activision was in a mess, so I agree that... but Bethesda wasn't in a mess. And what we see going on at Bethesda is a mass exodus of people.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about Bethesda, but this is an interesting segue.
I know, and
I do just want to be on the record that I was only talking about Activision.
I know.
Okay.
I know it's a totally different situation. Yeah. But the management of Microsoft, even though they have the money, they have the finances, the management of Microsoft is not necessarily best for the studios. Sometimes it can be overpowering and terrible.
Yeah, well, listen, Bethesda's different though, isn't it? Because Bethesda was this company that has always been privately funded, and now you're getting all of this over. And let's be honest, towards the end of Bethesda, while they were still independent, we started to see kind of more of the corporate stuff come into their games. But they were still able to make the games they wanted. Now they're getting covered under this corporate umbrella, and I think for a lot of developers, it's not the idea that they had, and that's not why they stayed at Bethesda. You look at Bethesda, they have some of the least turnover in the gaming industry, period. Mm-hmm. It's incredible how many of those employees are there that have been there since the beginning, and how many will continue to stay there, but you have this corporate oversight. Yeah, we hope. But now you have this corporate oversight that's, even though, yes, Bethesda's still able to operate independently, and I think they probably have more I would like to assume they have more financial freedom than they did previously, because now they have all of the what we just realized how deep Microsoft's pockets actually go.
Okay, let me segue into another one since we're talking about Microsoft's management. All this works perfectly, and it was something I was going to talk about anyway. Can you see them? And I can see this very well because I know what a company does when they acquire something else. They're going to look at the books very carefully when they buy something. Can you see them looking at a studio and saying, you know what? You're not worth keeping open. In other words, you're going to cost us more than you can make us. So we're dissolving you. We'll keep a few of the employees that we think are good, but this studio's gone. It's done. Can you see that happening with certain studios? I certainly can. And if you just nod and say yes, be careful, because what about the Austin studio? Fallout 76? Can you see that happening with Fallout 70? I mean, you can see it with some games that might be precious to some people, that might be current.
Yeah. Would you, if you had, what's a good, if you had just, something that you're spending, we'll make it small, thousands of dollars on a month, and it didn't do apps, it literally did nothing, but you're spending $1,000 to keep it in your house every single month, like, would you keep it? It does nothing.
Yeah, no.
No, you get rid of it. So if Microsoft turns around and they say, hey, here's this studio that's costing us millions of dollars, because now we're talking about how much games cost, millions of dollars, and you're making us, what is this? $1? $1? No, they're not gonna keep it.
You're out of here.
You make me $1, you get out, go home.
I'm reading some of the comments, and they're great. Jeremy says it depends on what stocks the congressman and senator have. In other words, how much gaming knowledge they know. Alice and Trey said when Kevin Spacey was the U.S. president, he played Call of Duty. You remember that movie? That was very funny. And then Cody said Microsoft said that they will still be independent. Speaking of Bethesda, Microsoft is just there for funding. I know that's what was said. But is that what is happening? Because again, you see a mass exodus of Bethesda, not just Bethesda employees. This is what's concerning. You see heads of studios. You see main developers, guys that have been there 20 and 30 years leaving. Jeff Gardner, Nate Perkapile, the head. There's been 3 or 4 heads of studios within Bethesda leave since the Microsoft acquisition. One left right before. Yeah, one left right before, which was the guy from id Software.
Yeah, I want to say, I would like to say that that's just because they have this new big boss in charge. And yes, Microsoft is there for funding. That's what's publicly stated. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing with, we saw this with BioWare. Did you pay attention to Anthem closely and everything that went on with Anthem?
A little bit.
So long story short, BioWare was given, when Jason Schreier came out with this investigative article, he found out that, Anthem launched a mess. But he found out that BioWare was given almost complete creative agency, and they blew it. They wasted that. And actually what came in and fixed the game was when EA said, no, we're taking control of this now, and that's why the game actually got shipped. If Bethesda decides to take this leash and they run away with it, Microsoft's going to have to put on a tighter leash. Everything. As much as we want to know that the developers work for us, we have to also understand that it's about making money for these companies.
Yep.
It's not making money, they're going to make a decision. Same thing with COD. COD doesn't make money on PlayStation, they're going to make it, or it doesn't make them enough money to make it worth putting on PlayStation, they're going to make it exclusive. The money's going to decide everything. And that includes what happens with studios.
I agree.
If Austin has to get dissolved, which I don't want it to get dissolved, I believe in second chances. But then again, we also know that Fallout 76 was making some money, right? It took a while, is what I think Timmer brought up, or dug up, was that it did take a while, but it became profitable, so...
But was it enough for Microsoft? Because, and that's what we're seeing, and I wanted to talk about this at the end of the podcast. We're not near there yet, but you see them, what seems like pulling back from Fallout 76. all we know right now is they've got little bitty updates. We're this year we're not told anything about a big major update coming. The pit, which is an expedition, but now we're kind of hearing that it may be like the daily ops, just a little thing. So there's no main story DLC that we're told about. What if we don't get a main story DLC for Fallout 76 this year? That means they have really pulled back the way we think. The way I said on the last podcast I did with Joey Caps, they're not even updating the Atomic Shop most weeks. Now, when you can't put new stuff in the place that you're trying to make money off of, then wow, what's going on over there? I mean, here we are, a brand new year, and they've put one new bundle in the Atomic Shop, where that we used to get new stuff every week.
Yeah, that doesn't fly for a live service game.
No,
that's not. That's not gonna cut it.
It's not sustainable. It's not at all. Not at all. So again, is it good? I mean, I think we will know a lot more, and I hate to say it, let's wait. But as far as Bethesda fans go, and even Activision Blizzard fans, I think we'll know more after a year goes by, because you're going to see more real changes happen. You're going to see more what Microsoft is really going to do. Sure, they're going to say the right things. I hate to give y'all a sports analogy, but when you hire a new football coach and they come in to the first press conference, they always talk about winning that press conference. And there's a lot of coaches that can win that press conference, but that doesn't mean he can win a football game. Do you understand that? They said great things. Bethesda, they're going to be able to do their own thing. We're going to stay out of it. Okay, you're just going to spend all that money and stay out of it? No, they're not. Come on. That was just for the press conference, I hate to tell you. But, and yes, Timber, you're exactly right. ESO has been much more of a success than Fallout 76. And I said this too, I hate to say it, but it's very true. If they were charging for content, we would be getting a lot more content over there. But since it's free content, we're not getting any. So,
yeah. Do you think that was a mistake for 76? Do you think that, for example, maybe this isn't the best example, but what is it? The Wastelanders should have been something that you paid for as a DLC? No. Or the pit, maybe the pit's a better, like the pit, if it was an actual extensive story-based thing. Do you think that's something you should pay for as a DLC?
Honestly, I don't know if they could recover once they promised. Once they built the game like it's going to be free, the content's going to be free. All you got to do is this, and then the content.
Well, if they didn't say that, like if from the get-go, the Fallout 76 was released.
If they would have built it like ESO, yes, it would have been a lot more successful, and I think we would have paid for a DLC or two a year, a big one. I think absolutely would have. Yeah, I would. I mean, I pay $100 for Fallout first. Yes, I would have paid a couple of. It would have been less for 2 DLCs a year. So,
and you might not have gotten Fallout first.
Exactly.
It might have just been a thing that you get if you were paying for DLC too.
That's right. Kane, bless your heart. Thank you for the super chat. He says, I believe this buyout is great. Activision has loads of dead IPs that can now be brought back because the studios that made those games will be able to get back to making the games that they love. Yeah. This is huge for us gamers. Now, I agree with that. I do. Again, I go back. I think it's great for gamers. I'm an Xbox fan. Putting these games on Game Pass is magnificent. And I hate to be... I guess I'm looking at some of the negatives now because of what Fallout 76 is going through. And I see some of what Bethesda's going through as well. And I see what things could go wrong in some of the studios.
But on the contrary, I'll try to cheer you up a little bit.
Please.
You gotta, yeah. All right. So, and we don't need our tinfoil hats for this one. We can put it on the side. But you said, yeah, like, Fallout. Let's just. It wasn't right. Let's say Fallout 76 was a complete and utter flop. You still have from Bethesda, or not from Bethesda, but you still have from Microsoft small projects that come out like Grounded from Obsidian. That was a small project of a subsect of Obsidian that said, we want to try to make this game. And Microsoft said, yeah, okay, go for it. And now it has a really big community, and Microsoft has come out and said that they're very happy with how the game is doing and the audience that it has grown. So I think that even with, if we're worried about what might happen to Bethesda Austin or Fallout 76, I still do think that on the positive side, on the flip side of it, yeah, like Microsoft is willing to support these as long as it is sustainable.
Right.
And if it is sustainable, then they're willing to do it. Now, in the case of Fallout 76, we had a bad launch, but that doesn't mean we won't see, like, for example, another Fallout game from Bethesda Austin. We won't get, like, a New Vegas style game from Bethesda, although maybe New Vegas isn't right because we want Obsidian to do that one.
Yeah.
But, we won't see, because we have how long until the Fallout 5? 2024 for maybe Elder Scrolls 6, 2025 for maybe Elder Scrolls 6, which means 2028 for Fallout 5.
I'm too old for that. No, don't make me wait.
I know, I've been in your streams when you talk about it.
Yep.
But does that mean that Bethesda Austin, yeah, they're not going to work, and they might not say, Bethesda wouldn't say this is coming from Bethesda Austin, the team behind Fallout 76. They're not going to mention that. They're just going to say, here's another Fallout game from Bethesda Game Studios, which isn't lying. That's accurate. And for what it's worth, as you've said in the past, Fallout 76 is a good Fallout game from a role-playing perspective, especially. So yeah, I don't think that's impossible. I don't think when we talk about, like, is Austin going to get merged or is it going to get dissolved? I do not think so. Not yet. They need something else to happen before they would pull the plug. Is Fallout 76 going to be good? Continue? I don't know. I think, we both are wondering the same thing on that front.
I agree. I think it's still up in the air. And I don't think they've decided either. That I don't think they would still be giving little bitty updates if they had decided. I don't know what they're waiting on, but we will see. A couple of things I want to get your thoughts on. Number one, I think I gave a tease with this back at the top. Ghostwire Tokyo, we've heard a little bit about this. PlayStation Store gave the date, or slipped accidentally, and this just came out.
Was it a slip?
It was a slip, yeah.
Did they like retract it? Like, how do you know it was?
Yes, because it's not been confirmed or anything. It was a whoopsie.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But they put a release date of March 24th, which actually lines up with what Bethesda was saying, that it would come early in 2022. So we could be seeing Ghostwire Tokyo as early as the end of March, which that's really, really cool.
I have to go back. I made a video talking about everything. I have a video on my channel talking about everything we can expect from Bethesda. For some reason, I forgot about id Software. I don't know why I forgot about id Software, but I did. I said, I think we'll probably see Ghostwire Tokyo in this time frame. I have to go back and see if I was correct.
There you go. Yeah.
But that way I can just be a little bit smug about it.
Yeah.
But
I was right.
What do you think? What do you think about Ghostwire? Because I know that's a game that, like, it's coming from Tango, smaller studio, underappreciated in my opinion.
I agree. I actually love Tango Studio. If you go back and play their games, I'm not a horror game guy. I can play a little bit, and then especially if I'm by myself, I'm a wimp. I'm sorry. The older I get, the wimpier. I used to love haunted houses and scary movies, and now I don't. But anyway, I used to be a police officer and everything, and now I want to just sit on my recliner.
You've earned that.
Yeah, I want to put my feet up. I don't want that kind of stuff. But anyway, but I can recognize a great game and everything. So this is more of a. It's not a horror game. It's more like a thriller, I guess. So I'm actually excited. I want to play a game of theirs that's not just a horror game.
Yeah.
So I honestly can't wait to play it.
There's one thing I want to address, which Cody P said 2023 seems early for Test 6. I forgot what year we're living in. I honestly thought it was still 2020 when I said that. So I thought,
we're in 2022, and we're just getting Starfield this year.
I know.
By the way, and if you're wondering, that has been confirmed by Bethesda that we are getting Starfield gameplay this year. I mean, we knew that. I mean, everybody's saying it, but E3 this year, because their holiday video came out, and Todd Howard says, we've been working hard on Starfield. We can't wait to show it to you next year. So he said that in December, which now we're in next year. So they will be showing us Starfield this year, and that will be at E3. And then, of course, we know the release date is in November. So can't wait for that. We know that because of and you pronounce it better than I do. I say Tamir. How do you pronounce his name? Timmer? Timmer. There you go. Okay.
I say Timmer.
I say Tamir. Which one is it? You got to help us. I may be saying it right. Anyway, he found that he was the one that found on a LinkedIn page that the Elder Scrolls 6 was still in pre-production. They actually listed that on one of the Bethesda employees' LinkedIn pages, which I thought was kind of interesting. You know, Bethesda normally kind of hides that kind of stuff. But, so it's not in full...
I guess it's different because it's announced, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing. But, I do find that interesting. I mean, they now have 4 full-fledged big studios, and they even have other rumored support studios. I wonder why they don't have a studio just working on the next game. I've always wondered that. I know they have a mobile studio. They have a VR studio. And I know it's all hands on deck for Starfield. But me and Joe talked about this. Why don't they have a Fallout studio and an Elder Scrolls studio and couldn't we get the games a lot quicker that way?
Would you? Yeah, you can. But would you want to be stuck making Fallout games every single time you finish the Fallout game? Good job. Work on Fallout 5.
Well, I mean, they could rotate the developers. I think that would work because they kind of do that anyway. From what I've heard, they kind of rotate within.
Yeah, they do. They do, to some extent. But I just don't think. I think when you have that many studios as you do, especially when you consider the sense of scope that Starfield... I think a lot of us are underestimating what Starfield can potentially be sometimes. And other times I think we completely overestimate what it can be and overhype it a bit. But you listen to the comments that these developers are making. I mean, some of them are saying like it's going to be the biggest game ever released. Right? I'm not talking about Pete Hines' comment where he said the biggest, most epic sci-fi thing ever imagined. I think that's what he said.
Okay, but DeMarco, dude, pronounced your name correctly. Pronounce it again. Timmer?
Timmer.
I will pronounce it correct from now on.
Like Tigger.
I'm sorry. Timmer. I'm sorry I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time, and bless his heart, he's so nice to me. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so when you think about the ambition that Starfield is supposed to achieve and just the size that I think Bethesda wants their games to reach, that just requires more people. You need more people to make more dungeons because the map's going to be twice the size, right? Yeah. You need more people to make quests because you have 3 times as many. You need more writers because you have 4 times the amount of dialogue. So when there's yes, like we have all these people. Now, I don't know comparatively if, you need 2 times the studios for 50% or like, yeah, if you need 2 times the studios for 0.5% of the content addition, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. But you do need that. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me.
No, I got it. Do you think, and this will be good to me, and I think I can get it out this way. If Starfield is anything close to what Skyrim was in its time, because if you think about what Skyrim was a revolutionary game at its time. I mean, it changed gaming.
Mm-hmm.
You think about, we wouldn't have The Witcher 3, we wouldn't have Breath of the Wild. I mean, it changed RPGs. It was the next step in what gaming was. Even though Oblivion and all that was great, Skyrim was amazing.
Yeah.
So do you think we're going to get another Skyrim in our time? That's what I think everybody wants.
It's a big question, because if I'm wrong, then I'm going to regret it forever.
Well, and BGS will too, because I know that's what they're shooting for as well.
I think that if any game has the possibility to be as transformative as Skyrim was, it would be Starfield.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, Elder Scrolls 6, yes, absolutely, it could be massive, it could be cool. It's gonna be. I like Elder Scrolls 6 more than I like Fallout. So like Elder Scrolls is more my thing because I like the fantasy aspect.
See me,
and I'm sure
that was always me, but now I've played Fallout so much.
now you're a Fallout man. Yeah,
they're almost
you've
dead even with me now.
now you've been corrupted. You've fallen prey
To the Fallout.
to the Fallout.
Now, if I could live in a world, it would be the fantasy world. I would pick that. I could live in Skyrim. I could live in Oblivion. I could any of those worlds. I would live. I would.
Yeah,
pick
but
that.
if you had an opportunity to visit Elvis in Fallout New Vegas,
Yeah, but it's not really Elvis. It's
yeah,
It was impersonators. I can go see
It's
impersonators
Fallout.
here. Yeah, but it is Fallout. That's true.
it's
It is
Fallout. It's Fallout Elvis.
It is Fallout Elvis. By the way, speaking of that, let me give a plug. And I actually got some new subscribers with my little Elvis video. If y'all happen to see my little Elvis video yesterday, thank you for watching it. If you didn't, go watch it. And you say I don't like Elvis, give him a chance. Go watch it. You might like it. I'm gonna put out.
Watch it.
I'm gonna put out a few more, but I'm not stopping gaming content. I promise. Hey Slacker, what's going on? Yeah, I cannot wait for Starfield. I cannot wait to see Starfield. And I know BGS is. I think their reputation is riding on Starfield because you go back to Fallout 76, and I think you made a huge point about the whole model of 76 was just wrong. If they would have done it like ESO, you look at ESO, they've been the top MMO now for what, 5 years running.
And they have more stuff coming. There's still it's still going strong. They have an entire new season that's coming out full with loaded content, which is exactly what the Fallout 76 fans or players want.
Yeah, and so. I mean, our community is growing. The Fallout 76 community is growing. It's great.
But can I share a startling statistic with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Skyrim had, I checked recently, I think during your last podcast, and Skyrim actually gets more players than Fallout 76 does.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
So
I wouldn't doubt it at all with the modding community.
That's telling that people are going to a 10-year-old game.
And this is what I think. I think that Fallout 76, one of its problems is the stench of its name is still holding it back. There's a lot of people that either tried it in the first for like this long or never tried it, and they'll never play it again. I mean, I still talk to people, like that. Oh, Fallout 76 stinks. I can't believe you're playing Fallout 76. Just the name is holding it back.
Yeah,
which
sucks because I think if you had more Wastelanders content, that game would turn around completely.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we've talked about how it's gotten much better, and it is. It's not my type of game. I'm not going to really go back and play it too much, but I can respect what it's done, and I really appreciate what Bethesda has done. And I think if they kept doing that, then you would start to see more people go, oh, let me Fallout 76. People talk about it. It's kind of good now. All right, I'll hop back in. I'll give it a try. Right, and I think it would start to slowly get that escalation in its player base and its fans and people who will give it a second chance, but it's not getting that support.
Yep, absolutely.
It sucks.
Another quick question. We were talking about the Elder Scrolls 6. And thank you, Jeremy. Jeremy says he put the Elvis video on Discord. By the way, if you're not subscribe to Discord, the link is in the description below. All my links are in the description of every one of my videos. But I really want our Discord community to grow. You get over there, there's people that you can chat with, people you can play Fallout 76 with. So get over there and get to talking about gaming. It's a great community over there. I have the best subscribers on YouTube. I really do. I do.
You do.
I have been what's the word? Spoiled since I've gotten on. I have such great subscribers. They have taken care of me. I remember my son saying, "Dad, do you really want to do this? People are going to be mean to you and talk bad about you." And I've had a few. I have, but for the most part, my people have been so sweet and so nice. Y'all just love me and forgive me for all my stupidity and. I don't know.
Look at that! Look at that face! How could you stay mad at you?
Okay, Elder Scrolls. I mentioned about them having a studio, but we know it's been confirmed it's just in pre-production. Do you believe one of the reasons they don't go, and this was what I thought, one of the reasons they don't go into production during the same time as another game, even though they probably have the manpower to do that, that they want the next game to be a leap forward? Because see, if they were working on it at the same time, if they were working on the Elder Scrolls at the same time they were Starfield, they would look a lot alike. But yet you see Bethesda, every game has a leap. Do you think that's one of the reasons that they wait?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a couple reasons. I think it's partially the scale that I mentioned before.
Okay.
Like these games. I think that these games are getting bigger. They're getting more expensive to make. I think that yes, absolutely, they do want to be able to improve. Like you look at Oblivion to Skyrim, and I think the cool thing about Bethesda games in particular is that you can have a favorite because they can almost exist independently of one another. If you think about it, with the exception of say maybe Fallout 3 and New Vegas, because they have exactly that. They kind of feel like the same game sometimes. But then you look at Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, or Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4, and you could turn around and say, no, I like Fallout 3 better. And this is, I think, why so many people like Bethesda games in general. Like, Bethesda has an awesome community of people that like their titles. Because you turn around and you go, yeah, well, I like Fallout 3, and this person says, I like Fallout 4. But nobody's right or wrong. Because there's one that's not distinctly better than the other.
I agree with you 1,000%.
And that is because they do spend the time, like in the time it takes to make Elder Scrolls 5 to Elder Scrolls 6, the technology has gone leaps and bounds because it's been, what is it going to be for 2011 to 2025? It's been so.
But I honestly hate those questions. Which do you like better, Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas? They are totally different. I love both of them, but for different reasons. I love Fallout 4. I love Fallout 6. I love all of them, and I would hate to pick a favorite. I can, but I hate to because they're so different. They're so different. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and now with Starfield, I think you're going to see that kind of a similar thing, where Starfield is going to... It's been long enough since Fallout 4. Fallout 76 plays similarly to Fallout 4, but it's been long enough where now Starfield is going to be able to exist independently as its own thing. And yes, we have its Skyrim in space, right? That's the way it's been described to us so far. We know nothing about the game. We've only seen the bare minimum of it. But I think when you sit down and play it, you're not going to sit down and go, oh, well, this feels like Fallout in space. Because obviously you have the first-person or third-person shooting mechanics, right? You're not going to sit down and go, yeah, this is kind of just Fallout with a sci-fi background. No, you're going to say, no, this is Starfield. This is Starfield. Not Elder Scrolls, not Fallout, this is Starfield. And it's going to feel that way because they've taken the time that they have to get it right to do it.
Do you think it will have fantasy elements? Meaning any kind of magic, any kind of aliens that have special powers, any...
I think it would be a little bit too boring without it. But the realist in me says, yeah, they're like, even if we meet some kind of alien species, like, you know what they can say though? Like they can pull, because there was this interview I watched with, I'm going to go a little bit off topic. There was this interview I watched with a Marvel director, and they were saying technically everything that happens, have you seen Doctor Strange?
Oh yeah.
Technically everything that happens in Doctor Strange is possible. And you look and you go, wait, what? Like how in the world? But then you listen. I cannot for the life of me remember this interview. But then you watch it. They're like, yeah, everything in the Marvel universe is. We tried to frame it in such a way that like, if you justify it by these, yeah, they get arbitrary, things, but it's possible. It is realistic. We've gone all over the place to make it work. And I think that Starfield might do the same, possibly. Yeah. But the realist in me says, no, they're going to keep it like NASA punk.
I think it's going to be a realistic Fantasy.
Yeah.
Is that sitting on the fence enough?
Well, I mean, like, was Mass Effect a realistic fantasy? Because the biotics are explained how they work with the Mass Effect fields and Element Zero and all, like...
Well, I mean, Star Trek is. I mean, it's they scientifically explain it. So yeah, same way.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's possible.
Yeah. Timmer says, did I say it right? I gotta practice it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Tigger. Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
But Timur.
Curious if id Software is working on the combat. I hope so. I hope so. I hope they don't just help BGS. I hope they do it, because there's one thing: if they do not fix this, I'm gonna pull the rest of the hair that I have left out. If Bethesda Game Studios does not fix their melee, especially before Elder Scrolls. If I have to do another sword game where it's just...
You don't like swinging around pool noodles?
Oh my god.
In your combat? Swinging around wet pool noodles?
That is the most awful thing. Anyway, so yeah, I very much hope that somebody helps them with that kind of combat too. Maybe even Arcane. I love Arcane's, what they bring to it. Yeah, I agree, James, about Star Trek. I think it's going to be more Star Trek-y. But with a little grittier, maybe. But yeah. Okay, real quick. We're running close to time. We're not going to go out right on the hour. I'm gonna hold you a little bit later, but we're getting close. It was confirmed that the TV show, Fallout TV show, is going forward, and it is probably in production as we speak now, because it was a couple of weeks ago that they said they were about to go into production. So we know nothing other than who's working on it. You know, the people that did Westworld. I don't know if have you seen Westworld or know anything about Westworld?
It's on my backlog. It's on my. I know the premise of the show. I have not watched the show, but it's like something that at some point in time I absolutely am going to watch.
It's the Institute. No, it is. Yeah, it's a pretty cool show. I've watched a little of it anyway, but I'm excited about it. If they do not take advantage of that, and I mean, I'm really nervous about it. Okay, I guess I'm.
Well, what would ruin it for you?
DeMarco, dude, I'm not as positive as I once was. Y'all are gonna have to infuse me with some positivity. I'm worried now.
You've been doing too many podcasts with Joey.
No, I'm so worried. Yeah, look, Psycho says I'm finger crossed they don't mess it up. I am too. That's the way I feel. Okay, other than
positivity,
other than the graphic nudity, The Witcher is great. I love that show. They did so good. Henry Cavill is great. I don't know if you've watched it, but I mean, just a fantastic writing. Just
did you read the books?
Great. No, I know about them. Of course,
okay, don't read them. If you like the show, don't read them.
Okay,
just let the show be good for you then.
I have played the game, and maybe it's based more on the game. But yeah, very very good show. If you don't know the books, so I want good stars. I don't want chintzy actors, which the Westworld had good actors. But they need to take advantage of it, and this is all I'm going to say. And then I'll turn the TV show over to you for a second. If they do not take advantage of Fallout the TV show and market it with some kind of game, now, my opinion right now, they've got Fallout 76 going. That would be a great way to get 76 really going. If they put it in West Virginia and do it that way. If they're not going to do that, put it in Washington and release Fallout 3 Remake, or put it somewhere else and release a new Fallout game. Because you know what has happened to The Witcher 3? The Witcher 3 sales have gone through the roof since the Witcher TV show has gotten so popular. So what would happen to Fallout if the Fallout TV show becomes popular? They need to do it with a game, in my opinion. Go ahead.
I think it would establish credibility, because now when you think, like you said, there's still people, because we have to keep in mind that we're not the majority of people that play games. Like, for example, I was talking to someone and they were like, what's Starfield? And to me, that's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What Star? And they, I don't know what Starfield. I've never heard Starfield. What's Starfield? Like, who's working on it? So like, we're not the majority. We're actually the minority. But I do think that it would work to bring all of those people to play Fallout.
Yeah.
And they might not know about Fallout 76, so they're not coming in with any prejudice, which is arguably a bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that it's much better than it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it would be silly not to put it with some kind of Fallout something.
And hey, and if y'all say that West Virginia wouldn't be good, think about it. With all the other places that you could put it, think about all the other games. What's in the other games? If you did Fallout 76, you have the Mothman, you have the Grafton Monster, you have the Flatwoods Monster. Oh my gosh! You can put anything. You even have the Zaytons. You have everything at West Virginia.
Would you want it in West Virginia though? Because I saw a comment from Gabe. I think he said, yeah, independent new. I personally would want to see something completely independent. Like, I would want to see not all new factions, but I want to see some new factions, and I want to see an individual characters, and because that is
you wouldn't want to see. And okay, let's get away from 76 for a minute. What about seeing?
No.
What about seeing Piper come to life? What about seeing Nick Valentine come to life? No.
Leave them alone. They're too. Leave them alone.
I know you could mess them up. I understand that. I understand.
They've earned their rest. I have dragged them through the wasteland and back. They have accompanied me and not complained. Well, complained a little bit, but
Kane just had a very good idea. What if they did something like having the series start before the war? That would be very interesting.
They would do. Would they? Let's be honest. Wouldn't they do a Fallout 4 thing though, where it's like, yeah, it's before the bomb, and then the bomb goes off into the show?
Yeah,
like the first episode would end with the bomb going off.
Well, or you could do, maybe a couple of shows leading up to it just to set the lore of what's going on in the world and all that. That might be.
It would, because do you see that happening realistically though? I don't. I see at most the first episode being pre-war.
Yeah.
At most.
Yeah.
Ooh, voice crack.
And of course, if they did that, that would put us, around the time of Fallout 76.
It would. In another state.
in another state, yeah.
That's just what I everybody wants their own thing, and I have faith. I don't think the thing about Bethesda, they've never done anything else besides games before, really. Right? They haven't branched into movies and TV. Like, now we're seeing Uncharted as a movie, we're seeing Sonic as a movie, we're seeing The Witcher as a TV show.
Todd Howard was offered to do the Elder Scrolls even way back before Game of Thrones or any of that.
Yeah, and he said no.
He said no. Yeah,
he didn't want to.
He didn't want to. He didn't want the games to be ruined back then. Of course, he had never seen back then. If you think about it, no movie or any video game had never been adapted to the screen successfully back then. Really.
And you want to know? I love this conversation because you want to know what's fun. What I find funny about it is what movie do you think kind of sparked it in the right direction?
You'll probably laugh at me because I'm gonna go way back.
That sparked video game movies becoming as popular as they are modern day. What movie do you think did that?
I'm gonna go way back. I believe it was Doom with The Rock. It wasn't a huge success, but I believe it wasn't a flop, and it was like, hey, this can work. This can work. Do you remember that one?
You think that Doom with The Rock Johnson made modern video game movies as popular as they are on TV?
No. I think it made people go, wait a minute. I think this can work if we do it a little better. I think that was the first one that didn't just stink to high heaven. That was the first one. Yeah.
Interesting. I see someone said Castlevania the anime. I don't think anime would ever be reaching, like, you wouldn't get The Witcher because of an anime. In my opinion. The movie that made the reason why we're seeing The Witcher, Uncharted, like all these other TV and movie adaptations. Mm-hmm. And this isn't the right answer, right? This is
your answer. Okay, gotcha.
Interpretation. This is my world. This is the world I live in.
Yeah.
Sonic.
Really?
Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. Because after Sonic, now it was Ready Player One first,
Yeah.
maybe Wreck-It Ralph, but I think it was Sonic. And because Sonic came out and it was loved. Not universally, but it was loved because here you had a
Super Mario
studio.
Brothers. I remember
Justin, no. Bad, Justin. Because here you have a character, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the studio went back. They revised the character to look like the original, so it showed that here's a TV and a film studio, not TV, a film studio that's willing to be faithful.
Yeah.
That's willing to be faithful to the IP and is listening to the audience. And then after all of that, not only did they go back and fix the thing that made tons of people happy, but then they made a good movie after that.
You know what y'all are going to do tonight? I know what every one of y'all are going to go do. Y'all are going to go look up Doom with The Rock and watch it. I know that's what you're going to do now. That's it. Well, I can't wait to find out what they're going to do with Fallout. I mean, that it's going to be... I hope it's going to be great, because if the trend... and I agree with you with some of the movies. I can't think of a dud recently in gaming. But for the longest, I mean, you know, some of y'all were naming some of them that were duds as jokes. For the longest, every video game adaptation that seemed like great ideas were just absolute tragedies on screen. And I'm trying to think one right off the top of my head, but I mean, there were some real stinkers back in the 90s, I guess, was when they first started really trying to put video games to movies. They started movies first, and then, of course, now with streaming service, that's the way it's going to go. So, yep, Doom with The Rock. Y'all are all going to do it. Absolutely.
I think it's actually on Netflix.
Is it?
I maybe. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is on I think it's on at least one streaming platform. It may be Netflix, now, unless they got rid of it.
Now, if you've never seen it before, don't go into it thinking King said this is a great movie. No, I said it was the first one that didn't stink. Okay, that's what I said.
Bring some adult juice to the screening.
I said it didn't stink, and I hope I remember it right.
bring some Mortal Kombat. Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat movie. That was a good one. I actually really liked the Mortal Kombat movie.
Spartan, what's going on? Tron. Oh, Tron in the 80s. Yeah, I remember that one. That was a. And they've made another one, and now they're going to make a third one of the Tron series. But it was a big dud the first time, and then they made another one that worked, which was kind of funny. Well, DeMarco, dude, we have talked about a lot today.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to sum it up because I know we've had people jumping in and out. But one of the main subjects we talked about, of course, and this is what I want to go out on, is, of course, the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and what it means for the future of not only Activision but also Bethesda and gaming in general. And of course, from there we went in all different directions, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. But give us some final words on what you're thinking about the future of gaming now that Microsoft has bought Activision. Do you think they're done, or do you think they're looking to buy more?
They're done this year. You know, who was it? There was one of the industry insiders, not Shinobi, Jason Schreier maybe. Jason Schreier put out a tweet that said, "Who's left? Who's remaining?" And I know Timmer kind of put some of these tweets as well out there, and they said, "Who's remaining?" And they just listed all the developers that are like kind of the smaller studios that can still be bought up. Timmer made some lists, and but someone in Jason Schreier's comment wrote, "That's a very ominous way to put it."
Yeah.
Who's left? But I think generally for these studios that were acquired, I'm excited. You know, we're hearing that that Call of Duty won't be annual anymore. That they're actually going to get time with the game. You have tons of talented people. You know, I feel so bad for these developers because you have so many talented people that have so much potential, and they're no longer going to be stuck working on Call of Duty. Go look at the studios that Activision acquired and look at their websites, and you will see on every single one of them, even the one where you have the bright pink and purple colors for Spyro and of course it'll blank on me now, but Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, right? You have Spyro, bright pink colors, things are very childlike and wonder, and then boom, Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
So I'm excited that these studios will finally have an opportunity to be themselves, and I think they'll flourish under Microsoft. I really do. I'm excited that Call of Duty will finally have time because I miss enjoying Call of Duty games. I miss good Call of Duty games. I'm not big onto them. I'm not huge. They're not my favorite games, and they never will be my favorite games, but I want to see a good one. So, and I think under Microsoft, that actually is more of a possibility than it ever was before.
I think we've seen this coming. Gaming's going the way that TV went streaming. Now gaming's going to streaming services. That's going to be it's going to be Game Pass, and this was I agree with you. I think we agreed with each other. I don't know who said it first, but this was Microsoft's way of bullying's not the right word, but
that was you. You brought this up.
Okay, this was Microsoft's way of getting Sony to
incentivizing.
Yeah. Sony to put Game Pass on their systems if they want these games. Because again, if you've just joined us, if you're wondering, if you're a Sony player and wondering if you can play Call of Duty in the future, right now they're not taking any of these games off. They're gonna keep them all on Sony. They've made that commitment. But in the future, now this is my opinion, but I think this is what is absolutely correct, and DeMarco Dude agrees. I think everything is going to go exclusive to Xbox. It's going to be on Game Pass. Phil Spencer said they're going to do all they can to keep it on Sony. Well, what that means is he's going to try to get Game Pass on Sony. So if Sony will let Game Pass come to them, then you'll get to play these wonderful games too. If not, then we'll just see if Sony plays ball. And
buy a PC.
And what do you think? Do you think Sony's going to play ball? I believe they will, but it's going to take some time. I don't think they're going to do it instantly.
Sony, I want to say yeah, but Sony, they listen.
They're going to go. Come on, they're going to go kicking and screaming. They fight everything.
I'm not going to get angry about it, but Sony has released God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. Massive commercial successes. So you'd think when they have some of these other exclusives coming out, they'll be like, let's put them on the PC. They'll put them on Steam. No. PlayStation. Buy them on Play. And I like PlayStation. I'm not like one way or the other. I'm console agnostic. But Sony is just really slow to pick up. Like their Game Pass thing, we know they're working on something. We know they're working on something to compete with Game Pass. Is it too late? That's a whole other discussion. But
it's slow.
It's slow. They haven't done anything. No. These games coming to PC. Microsoft is saying, yeah, play our games. We don't care. Just play them on the Microsoft store. Like whatever. It doesn't matter. And Sony, no. PlayStation. Buy PlayStation. Right? They're like a little. It's like I'm sorry. It's like a little pouty kid. It is. It's like a little pouty kid.
It is.
But they have the evidence to say they should be doing those things. So anyway, point being, Sony adopts things slowly. Will they go kicking and screaming to let Microsoft Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation? I don't think so. I don't think so because I think what they're going to do is they're going to just try to make and promote their own competitor before any of that will come to fruition, before an exclusive deal would ever happen. Yeah. They'll try to make their own competitor, and they're not going to want people on PlayStation to subscribe to their competitor.
Yeah.
So that's my guess.
Well, that's why I said I think they're going to do it eventually. I don't think it's going to be they're going to do it kicking and screaming down the road. But things can change down the road. So, all right, ending statements. Do you have anything else you want to say? I want to say first, if you're not subscribed, and I should have said this a long time ago, I'm sorry. If you're not subscribed to this handsome guy over here, please, he is DeMarco Dude. Can you put your link in the chat?
Yes, I think I can. I might get it wrong. Yeah.
I can do it if I...
yeah, I'm doing, I just need to type in the whole link manually. Like, I need to type in the www.youtube.com/.
Okay.
I think that's it. Oh, that didn't work. All right. Well, it's DeMarco Dude on YouTube, so you can try it.
Let me see.
But no, this was fun. I can't believe it took us this long to do this.
I know it. I have had a blast.
And I've been keeping my eye on the comments, and you really do have like awesome community, and I love everybody. Thank you guys. Like Jonas, I recognize Kane. I recognize all of you guys because I sit and watch King streams as well. So it's cool to see and like be on this side of it. You know.
It is, and we will have you back. Please come back. Please come back soon. All of y'all, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I haven't been here for the KingCast, but we made it up. We went a little bit extra, so this was a present for y'all. Hope y'all have a great rest of the weekend. DeMarco Dude, thank you again. Y'all go subscribe to him. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We are clear.